Hello, welcome back. We're back live on a Monday night on the Ilfl Soccer Night Show. It's the final segment of the show. Can we end where we started, which was talking about the Winter League? Even before I do that, there's something that's going to happen before that starts. It's something we've been mentioning for the last couple of weeks now, and it's only a couple of weeks away. It's the ILFL Awards presentation ceremony happening September the 10th. At our usual place, which is the Royal Regency over there in the East End of London. Everyone is invited to come on down, celebrate in what people have done over the last season, whether it be Winter League, Summer League, the Divisional Cups, the League Cups. Everything that has been ILFL will be celebrated, and we'll see the winners presented and runners-up presented at that ceremony as well. One or two other things happening on the night as well. You can only know what's going to happen if you are there. That's going to be at the Royal Regency on the 10th of September. We'll be there. And we hope that you guys are too. We're going to tell you more about it next week when I'm sure Rashid Ali will be here and maybe even our chairman, Cameron Zaman, will be here to tell you a little bit more about it. But let's go back to the Winter League, and we spoke about some of the new teams that were joining us in the Winter League. We talked about names that are coming back, such as Ace FC. We talked about an old name, a blast from the past in PYO, and we'll talk about their history and this new generation of PYO that's coming back next season. Let's talk about one or two of these other teams that are coming in, names that people probably think, where did they come from? Who are they? Fish Island being one. And I know that's one that's going to raise eyebrows. It's like the name Fish Island, what is that all about?
I know, I mean, I was one of the first person, to raise an eyebrow thinking, I mean, first of all, who are they? And second of all, why would they choose a name like that? But I'm sure there's a good reason why, they've called it Fish Island, and I'm sure there's some meanings to it as well.
I'm sure there are meanings. Now, if I'm right and my geography is correct, Fish Island is over there on the Bow side of East London, so they're going to be a local boys within sound of the Bow Bells. In fact, I even went one better, and I found that Fish Island FC have their own website with their own ethos about themselves. Fish Island FC, if you're watching, this is all about you, and I'm not making this up. If you're not from Fish Island FC, this is all about them. I'll read it to you what it says on their website. It says, "The Fish Island Football Club is a gathering of generally unfit Hackney Wickians who enjoy the game and enjoy a social Sunday afternoon kick-around. We are not pros, but passionate enjoyers of the game." Welcome to the Inner London Football League. You are definitely going to be part of what we do over the season. You've put on your website that you have joined the league, and we are very, very happy to have you. It would be great to have you guys here in the studio talking about who you are and how long you've been formed, because it seems here that you've only been established just a year. So here's another new team, new to the league, new to any sort of league, it seems. Let's welcome them and embrace them, and let's hope that we see them at our award ceremony. That's a team that should be there.
Yeah, they should be there. First of all, I just want to make it clear that I don't believe anything that they say on the website.
It's a red herring. They all look like athletes to me, I have to say.
They all look like, well, yeah, it's probably a deception. Who knows? They're probably looking to, sort of provide some deception, provide some mask, and sort of surprise the teams. Who comes in the Sunday League, and the Sunday League isn't the Sunday League of a decade ago. Things have changed. It's
That's
really
true.
Competitive. I mean, if you compare against Saturday League, I mean, most of the players that play on Saturday also play on Sundays as well.
They come along and love to play on Sunday as well, because they love the game.
Each team has a variety of semi-pros as well in the Sunday League team, so you can't underestimate the Sunday League. I mean, a team like Fish Island, you need the right level of structure. You can't just have any team coming into a proper league. You need the finance, you need the backing, you need the sponsors, you need the right level of structure, not to mention the insurance and everything else that comes with it. And people need to come in, the management needs to come in week in, week out. Every Sunday they need to collect the kits, wash the kit, do the match cards. There's a lot of administration too. There's a lot of player registration, a lot of paperwork. Not a great deal of paperwork, but if you add everything up, it's a lot of effort to run a Sunday League team. And you can't have any light-hearted teams coming in and thinking, it's just a kickabout, it's park football, because
So
it's
you're
not.
thinking this team might come in and they're going to have something about themselves?
I think that there's something to this Fish Island than what their name
Dare I
stands for.
say it, something smells fishy about Fish Island. Let's move on. Never mind. I'll leave the jokes to Rashid when he gets here. Let's move on. Another team, AMY FC, AMY FC. We don't know whether that's an acronym or who's AMY. We found out who Jack Berry was. Who's AMY?
It's not AMY. Well, it doesn't look like an acronym. It doesn't look like an initialization. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's not a girls' team. We know that. So
definitely not. And the only thing I could, at this point in time, and my research skills are very limited as they are, but AMY FC came out of the Camden Football League, where they seem to have done reasonably well. They were able to compete. It is AMY FC. We're looking forward to having you. If you are new watchers to the ILFL Soccer Night Show, welcome. Glad to have you this evening. And likewise, like I say about any new and established team, it'd be nice to have you in the studio to talk about yourselves and tell us exactly where you came from and where you expect to go with that. What are the other new teams taking part?
Crusaders. It's one of those team names that, it's quite scary if you think about it. Crusaders. It's a bit like...
They've clearly given that name some thought. It's not like they've, just stumbled across it.
Yeah, it's a bit like Black Meteors. It's intimidating. As soon as you sort of think about the name Crusaders, Black Meteors, it's like, who are those teams? Why have they come up with this name? It must mean something. And the only thing I can say is just to intimidate the opponents. It's got to be. It seems like it's one of those teams that wants to do well. I get the feeling that they want to conquer the world. That's the feeling that I'm getting. We don't know anything about them. I don't think the management knows much about that team, although, we know a lot about the actual management, but not the actual players. So, see what happens with Crusaders,
In 3 weeks' time, we're going to see a lot of these teams playing, and if they're coming up against you, like I say, it's that age-old saying, never underestimate the opposition in front of you. Good luck to you, Crusaders, as you take part in your first season in the ILFL Soccer League. Any more to surprise us with?
PYO, I think first established 1978, which is a predominantly a team made up of Bengali youths. They've played, if you look through the ages, within the last sort of 2 or 3 decades, PYO has always been there, a name that always been playing in all the different competitions, and everybody would have talked about PYO. More recently, they seem to have gone in a state of hibernation, and they haven't been peering up. So now it looks like they want to make a comeback. So this is the first season that they've come back to play football in a number of years, many years. A lot of these new generation boys will probably not recognize who PYO are. And I hope that they're going to make a strong comeback. And that's my feeling, and I think they probably would make a strong comeback.
It's a revival of the Progressive Youth Organisation. Now, there is an acronym for you. Let's see if they have progressed any further from the team, the club, the organisation that they were many years ago, even when I played against them. PYO, lots of teams taking part in the Winter League. And like I said, whether you are winners, losers or participants in the ILFL, you are all welcome to join us at the awards ceremony taking place at the Royal Regency on the 10th of September, because it's not just a show for winners and runners-up. It's for everyone to come down and celebrate everything that we do in the ILFL Soccer League. Anything else you want to add?
Well, we've got Arsenal as well. They started.
They really run some league. I like them, and I like what they've done. I like what they've come into.
Yeah, that's one of those teams that's got a really, really strict and determined management structure. All of the players are very, very young. They're barely 16. If you watch them play, when I initially watched them play at the beginning of the season, I was thinking to myself, well, these boys, they can play football. They get in the early goals, but they can't capitalize on the early goals because they somehow concede more goals, and then they sort of tend to lose the games. But you could tell it's one of those teams that needs a little bit more time to gel with the individual and get more experience in playing in a proper league. And to my surprise, they did it straight away, almost instantly. 2-3 games down the line, and they were winning, and they were winning with, like, you know, flying colours. So it's one of those teams that I think that might do very well in the Winter League. It's going to be the first test of Winter League anyway. So, I mean, I know we say summer and winter league's a completely different ball game. Yeah, I do agree with that. But it's one of those teams that look like they have the right attributes.
It worked for them.
It worked for them. It worked for them. I mean, they're going to come in with a lot of confidence, which is what we like. And with the right management structure and the mentality that they have, I think they're going to quite exceed. I have to say, it's one of those teams that I'll be keeping a close eye on.
Well done to you, Arsenal. I mean, like I said, and if you enter into one of the lower league, one of the lower divisional leagues, I think you could do really, really well without wanting to put pressure on you. But hey, when have Arsenal never been under pressure? So let me just do that to you and welcome you to the ILFL Winter League. One more?
What I'll do is I'll just go through the entire list.
Sure.
You know, it might take me a while, but I'm not
to
going to talk about the teams because that might take forever. So we've got, from top to bottom, we've got Ace, Amy, Arsenal, Beaumont Youth, we've got Bow, we've got Bromley, Burdett, Crusaders, Fish Island, Leytonstone, London Tigers, Lotus FC, PYO, Reach Out, Redco, Riverside, Robin Hood Tigers, SCTA, it's one of my favourites, Saya, St Catherine's, Stepney, watch out for Stepney because it's one of those teams that have made some huge changes. We've got Stepney B as well, Tower Hamlets, Weavers, West End, and West End Reserves.
The West End Reserves. I have to say, out of all of that, and without giving away too much about where people are going to be, which divisions or whatever, but I think the top two divisions are going to be pretty strong.
They're going to be pretty strong, and I can see that teams will be looking to make some early season statements here. You know, I mean, we all know that, you know, if you got those early wins, then you're in good shape for the rest of the season. You know, in many ways, you know, you're less under pressure. You've already got some points, so it's those the early wins that the teams will be looking for. So it's those first games that, you know, we all advise all of the teams to be well prepared for those first games, those early ones. I mean, the weather's going to be still pretty okay, so there's no excuse for that. Throughout the season, you know, some weeks it's going to be raining, some weeks it's going to be hailstorms, and, you know, the weather's going to be cold, so you might not get the numbers that you need. So, you know, the teams might not perform as they would normally would. But early on in the season, there's no excuse. So this is the time to make your mark.
It definitely is, and it looks like it's going to be a great winter season that we've got coming up again, and I'm looking forward to it because we always have so much to talk about within the first week. As soon as it all kicks off, it's what we can't wait for, and it gives us everything to talk about on a Monday night. Good luck to you all. Looking forward to it all. It's happening in 3 weeks' time. Get your registrations in. If you're a new team, even if you're an established team, it's time to get your players registered. The sooner you do that, the more settled you will be. You'll have nothing else to worry about but to keep your eyes out on the website, www.ilfl.org, for the first round of fixtures to come. Just going back now, but just wrap things up very, very slowly now. Veterans League Cup happening again this Thursday. Again, we've got another 8 teams battling it out to take 4 places in the next round, in the quarterfinals, which will then take place on the 3rd of September. Go out there and do your best, because the first goal usually wins it at this stage in these 20-minute games. And then we can be talking about you, and you will then have just about enough time to get yourself suited and booted and be up on that stage at our awards ceremony as well, taking place at the Royal Regency on the 10th of September. We're coming to the end of the show, Nana. It's been a good show. We've heard about everybody taking part in the Winter League. We've having a good Veterans Cup tournament now, and the Vets need to continue after that. Let me get you to stick your neck out. Who's going to be Veterans Cup winners this time around?
Tough to say. There's teams out there. We've got London Tigers, one of the favourites every season. We've got Bowman Masters, another favourite. And who knows, Bernardo's might be another team. But those are 3 probably best placed position to win the cup games.
Wow, it is too tight. I don't know if I want to stick my neck out. Tigers looking ominous and look like nobody can touch them right now. They're taking every single game seriously.
They look like the untouchables now. You know, if you look at the goal difference and the way they perform, you know, the structure is pretty much the same. You know, they've made one or two changes in the way they play, but they're ever so fierce. You know, every single strikers player except the goalkeeper is a striker. You know, every single one of them can score a goal. And compare that with Revive. You know, not even a single one of them can score a goal. So that's a huge, huge difference. You know, so it's one of those teams that, you know, pretty much untouchables. What can you do about it? Some of the other teams may use tactics such as Bowman, what they did last season, and I think that was a fantastic one. You know, that they pretty much were the underdogs and they kind of stole it from Tigers. But it just shows, you know, you need the quality, but also strategy sometimes can overcome quality.
You need it all. We're looking forward to it. Thanks again for this evening. Nanny, football is a funny game. Let's see what happens. Thanks to everybody behind the scenes who are putting the show together and making it watchable for you, the watching public out there watching the ILFL Soccer Night show. We'll see you again next Monday night. Until then, it's good night.